A very good morning to all of you, and welcome to the 7th opening bell ceremony. And the most important thing about today is we are also celebrating the Bancabc listing. As is the norm, please allow me to go through the protocol list to acknowledge the following. The BSE CEO, Re Thapelo Seole, sitting behind me. The Atlas Mara CEO, John Staley. Bancabc Managing Director, Mr. Khotso Banalotle. The BSE and Bancabc Senior Management present. Representation from advisors. There is R&B here. There is Collins Newman. There is Motswedi Securities, Grant Thornton, DLA, Piper Advisory Services, and all the distinguished guests. And also the members of the media are here with us today. The public is always invited to these ceremonies. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Thapelo Moridame. Good morning. As I've already mentioned, we are commemorating or celebrating the official listing of Bancabc today. We are very happy because this echoes what we do throughout the years as the BSE, because we always want to see a lot of companies realizing that value by listing on the stock exchange. So today we are very happy to welcome African Banking Corporation of Botswana, Bancabc, to the BSEL family. Let me just take you through the program of today. The CEO of the BSE is going to welcome you and give you updates on the market, as is the norm. The Bancabc Managing Director, Mr. Khotso Banalotle, is going to give a few remarks just to explain what this listing means for the bank. And afterwards, as is the norm, there will be a bell ringing where the Managing Director of Bancabc will be joined by the CEO of the BSE and the CEO of Atlas Mara, John Staley, to ring the bell. And there will be a photo opportunity and a toast. I'm sure some of you have seen the champagne. And there will be a vote of thanks by Bancabc Director, Mr. Jacob Mutabani. Without wasting too much time, I'll now invite the BSEL CEO, Re Thapelo Seole, to welcome you to this beautiful building.
Good morning, all of you, BSE board members. I don't know if there's any here and now. Bancabc board of directors, I think there are several of them, and Re Mutabani is going to be speaking on, I think he's going to be joining on the bell ringing. Bancabc managing director, Mr. Khotso Banalotle, and Atlas Mara CEO, Mr. John Staley. Where are the women, guys? It's Mr. Yeah, BSE and Bancabc senior management and staff, representatives from advisors, R&B Botswana, Collins and Newman Co., Motswedi Securities, Grant Thornton, DLA, Piper Advisory Services, and KPMG, brokers here present, and all capital markets participants. Let me say good morning to all of you and welcome you to the BSE. Dumela. It's a good day for us to welcome Bancabc Botswana Limited to the market today. I think it's a great celebration to us in the capital markets. Bancabc was previously listed, but in another form. I think Khotso knows better. He will explain it because it's good to clarify some of these things. But I think it's an opportune moment for us. That is why we decided to link or to merge the bell ringing ceremony for December and the celebration of the Bancabc listing. But as is tradition with previous listings or previous bell ringing. We normally do a few market updates for the year. To date, I think as of December 11, the turnover, I think, had reached about 1.8 billion pula, which I think it's a commendable effort looking at the low trading volumes across emerging market. So to reach 1.8 billion so far as of 11th December, I think it's a good number for us. Average daily turnover 8.1 million pula per day. I think last year it was slightly less than this, and we had 25 listed companies, domestic companies, and Bancabc will make them 26. I've always said this: it's very difficult to get listings in Africa. I think if you are a market participant, look very closely to other stock exchanges in Africa, especially outside South Africa. Listings are difficult to get by. And for us to get about 3 listings in 1 year, I think it's a big success. And I think also we introduced the first company on the Serala OTCL, which is BBS through registration, and BBS still continues to trade. When you look at the bond market, we have had a very successful year in the bond market than ever. Government bonds trading have reached 2.2 billion. This is the first time ever in the history of this market. And I think it shows that there are a lot of developments in the bond market that we have been trying to push. Corporate bond markets traded value is 35.3 million. On a normal year, this is normally zero. So to reach 35 million, I think it's a good number. And I think the bond market cap is 9.6 billion compared to corporate bonds at about 5.4 billion. We still have 3 ETFs. There were 4. We had 1 delisting. And I think we are working on a number of new instruments coming up. For the year to date, you realize that we have traded about 4.3 billion. We have never traded this number before in the history of the BSE. We are generally a small economy, but I think I'm happy that these are satisfactory numbers to us here. And I'm happy that the likes of Bancabc, being the 4th commercial bank to list on Botswana Stock Exchange, they will add to the mix and to diversity in the financial services sector in the BSE, and also in the listings in terms of the shares available to members of the public. I think it's a great success for us at the BSE, and I think it's a good step by Bancabc to join the BSE. We are pursuing an internationalization strategy that we have rigorously been at it for the past 2 years, and I think it's starting to bear fruit. We are now recognized stock exchange by her Queen, the 3rd in Africa, and foreign participation in the market is it ranges between 46 to 57. I think it's a good thing. The BSE is still very active across the continent, and I think it's mainly because we want to be out there for our companies to be visible. I think in terms of the numbers, I've been told ordinary shares issued it's 725 million, and of which 20.5% are held by the public. I think it's a great mixture, and I think all of you are aware that the new listings requirements are kicking in January 1st, where we're going to require all companies to raise their free float to 30. But because Bank ABC, I think it's new, it's coming now, we will allow it at 20.5 for some time. But the expectation is that it will have to move to 30 over time. But I think, we have been involved with Bank ABC before. The bank has always been very proactive and participated in a lot of market development. Bank ABC sponsored the 2016 BSC listings and investment conference as a gold sponsor. And I think they also participated at that very conference, to the conference which is aimed at trying to sensitize companies to list in the BSE. So I think I get that the sponsorship in 2016 was also to sensitize themselves, because they were not listed then. But I've got no doubts whatsoever that I think Khotso, my friend here, he has participated a lot in development of the capital markets here, especially the bond market. I think he was in the formative committee of Botswana bond market development. He have always given his time and effort to push forward development of the bond market. I think that is why now we are able to trade about 2.4 billion of bonds. I think it's efforts that Khotso, when he was still young, that he dedicated his time. He was working somewhere else, I wouldn't mention, but I think now he's in challenging positions. But I personally know, and I can vouch for him, that he have made immense contribution to the bond market, especially development. But when you become CEO, you contribute by giving speeches, like he's going to do today. So we really appreciate him. I think this is my personal appreciation to him, because I think that time no one wanted to participate, and I think young as he is during that time, he used to come to the Exchange House to discuss voluntarily those issues. And that committee, you're not paid a sitting allowance. You use your own personal time. So I think he will take Bank ABC to greater heights, and that's by listing, I think, is one of the many things that he will be able to do. As the exchange, I think 2019 was a very successful year for us. Oh, 18. Yeah, maybe I'm so tired that probably I want my contract to come to an end, and then I go to Muchudi to 2018, I think, for us was very, very successful. We demutualized. Those of you who don't know, we are not a parastatal now. We are a private company with varying shareholders, and it was a tough exercise. And I think this is where we came to the party as BSE. We worked so hard to achieve this using internal resources. Majority of the things we did in-house, and I think I congratulate all my staff members, and of course plus the board and the minister for supporting us. And I think as we move into 2019, we'll still continue with post-demutualization activities, because it's a process. It's a process that takes time, but for us, I think we took about 3 years. But in other countries, they're still trying to do it since 2001. It's not an easy thing. Yes, they took 14 years in Kenya, 5 years in Johannesburg, 13 years in Zimbabwe, and we took about 3 years in the process here. But it was very tiring. That is why I can't wait for tomorrow to knock off and go. And also, we are going to be implementing a new CSD system, The system that we have is in 2008 settlement system. We have awarded the contract to a Swedish company that is going to be, we are starting contract negotiations now, but implementation will start January. It have got a lot of functionalities. It will start to settle with central bank money, and now not with Standard Chartered Bank. Investors will now be able to view their holdings online. Those of you who have smartphones, and it will also have an element of security borrowing and lending, and these are some of the things that will facilitate market making, and then liquidity will be able to improve. It's a very relatively stable system, because I think the system that we have now, it's old, and when we have so many investors now, remember our investors come from about 20,000, now we have reached about close to 90,000. The system started to experience some problems, but I think with the new system we'll be able to do this. And most importantly, we are hosting the African Stock Exchanges Conference for the first time ever in the history of the BSE. It will be in Kasane. It is the biggest financial conference in Africa. It will happen, I think, towards the end of the year next year. So if you want to attend, you need to make sure that you book in advance. I think it's an honor for us, for our fellow African counterparts to let us host this. I think let me not take a lot from the celebrations of Bancabc, and welcome them to the market, and express our sincere happiness that they will add to the flair of the entities that are listed in the BSE. And like I said, your contribution when you are still listed, even when you are not listed, has been very immense to the development of the capital markets in Botswana. And with all those few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to the BSE. Let's enjoy champagne, and also wish you a very good Christmas and New Year, and travel safely, drive safely, take care of yourselves, and see you in 2019. Thank you.
Thank you, Ratshaola, for those wonderful remarks. He has mentioned a lot of things that are going to be coming in the future. So I think as participants in the capital markets, it's important that we remain in conversation and give each other feedback and support where required. At this point, I'm going to invite the Bancabc Managing Director, Mr. Khozo Bannalotle, so that he can tell us about the Bancabc journey, about that listing journey, and what this listing is going to mean for the bank. Help me welcome Mr. Bannalotle.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies. Good morning. Let me start by acknowledging the presence of our Group CEO for Atlas Mara, Mr. John Staley, and I also see a few other Atlas Mara resources, Ariane. The board members for Bancabc and the management committee of Bancabc Botswana, senior management of our partner corporates, clients, and regulators, members of the media, stakeholders, our advisors, RMB, Collins Newman, Motswedi Securities, and Grant Thornton. Stakeholders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Now that you said a lot about me, maybe let me firstly acknowledge our host, the CEO of the Botswana Stock Exchange Limited, Thapelo Tole, and your team. I must say that whilst the listing process can be quite involved from a company's perspective, The interaction with the BSEL and the approval process has been an absolute pleasure, and I want to thank you and your very, very capable team for being so welcoming. Never at any point throughout this process has any of the engagements with the BSEL been a worry, and I think we're grateful for making it so easy for us to come back to the stock exchange as a subsidiary of ABCH Holdings. I must say that access to capital markets through the stock exchange is an important consideration for growing companies, and from my experience working with you directly and through our various stakeholders, making this process as pleasant as it has been for us goes a long way and leaves so much more room for the company to focus on the core of the process, which is engaging with investors and other stakeholders in order to meet the requirements of the listing. Let me also welcome to the Bancabc, part of Atlas Mara family, our new shareholders, the more important people here. We are proud to have you as our key stakeholders and partners in the next phase of the growth of our business. And now that you've trusted us with your money, I can assure you that we'll continue to work for you and to ensure that we remain a rewarding and key part of your portfolio. Your decision to support us is one that we appreciate very much, and we know we carry the responsibility of ensuring we continue to deserve it going forward. Botswana is a home and core market for ABCH, and we are delighted that we have Botswana ownership in the company. To the media and our invited guests, let me thank you for honoring our invite to be here this morning. I just want to say that we appreciate your partnership with us, and your presence here this morning is testament to the strength of the relationship and support that we enjoy from all of you. And as we become a listed company, we are cognizant of and acknowledge the public interest in the institution going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, having received the requisite approvals from the BSEL to list, we're here today for the open and bell ceremony and the first day of trading for African Banking Corporation of Botswana Limited, trading as Bancabc Botswana, a part of Atlas Mara's shares on the Botswana Stock Exchange. As you are aware, we opened our offer on the 6th of November in a secondary sell down by way of private placement to select investors who are clients of participating brokers. And I'm glad that we've reached this point where we have successfully completed the process and been admitted to trading on the BSEL. I want to thank our partners and advisors led by RMB, Grant Thornton, Motswedi Securities, Collins and Newman, and our own internal team, ably led by our CFO, Fortune Takaindisa, and the rest of the ABC team. The decision to list the bank on the BSEL is in line with the bank's strategic focus of consolidating our market position. We are currently the fourth most profitable bank in Botswana and the fifth largest by assets. We have a long track record of operating and innovating in the Botswana financial services sector. The listing on the BSEL has helped raise further support in achieving our goal of becoming the bank of choice for individuals, corporates, and public sector entities in Botswana by offering differentiated services through investment in technology and advanced interaction platforms. As you are aware, the larger portion of the approximately 300 million pula of proceeds that we raise from this offer will be dedicated to the group's ongoing efforts to develop and enhance the group's common IT infrastructure and banking platforms, which will provide a launchpad for us for sustained growth in the medium term. These include core banking and banking channel upgrades to support growth and improve operational efficiencies across the whole of the ABCH group. Bancabc stands to benefit significantly, given that we are the largest subsidiary of ABCH. Reflecting on our journey up to this point, we're a bank that comes from humble beginnings. African Banking Corporation started operations here in 2001, less than 20 years ago, as a merchant bank. We have only been a commercial bank in Botswana for less than 10 years. As I've said, as at 30th of June, Bancabc ranks as the fifth largest in Botswana by assets. Today, the bank provides a range of banking services to over 60,000 unique core customers, excluding those from our partnerships, via its growing distribution network of branches, Visa-enabled ATMs, access points, online and mobile platforms, and through a workforce of over 330 full-time employees. To achieve this growth in the competitive landscape in Botswana in 10 years, we can only believe that this success has come because we have remained steadfast to our customer needs, and it's a testament to the innovation and entrepreneurial spirit that has dominated the first decade of the success of the bank. The next phase of growth for the company aims at recapturing some of that spirit. Bancabc has embarked on a journey in the last year to refresh its service offering, as well as upgrading its banking infrastructure and seeking to open in new presence areas. So look out in the first quarter of 2019 as we launch these improved service offerings. Our first quarter will be crowded with several launches of the tools required to enable our growth going forward. We are completing our customer value proposition with a two-pronged approach. First, we are completing the product complement and also rolling out a distribution strategy and footprint consistent with our customer needs. We are in the test phases of our credit card product. We are piloting currently our corporate transactional banking platform. We are opening by the end of February 4 service centers in 4 new locations. We are adding functionality to our retail mobile platform, among other things. Lastly, as we become a listed company, I wish to remind everybody that we are not a small bank, but we are certainly a young bank, and we take seriously our positioning as a challenger brand. Red Solar will tell you that there are no small companies on the BSE main board. We have the energy to experiment, to reinvent, to redesign, to disrupt, and to partner. We are deeply committed to our purpose. We firmly believe that our purpose here in Botswana is to invent and reinvent with our partners financial solutions that empower our customers to fulfill their dreams at every stage of their life's journey. In the last 10 years as a full commercial bank in Botswana, we have helped so many customers with access to financing that has allowed them to go further, to further their lives' goals, and together with them, we have grown. On my interactions with so many of our customers, it is deeply satisfying and heartening to hear Motswana are, the money I took from Bancabc, I have built Kohae, I have fenced Moraka, I have educated my children. At Bancabc, we do good, and we are proud bankers. We are looking forward to working with our wider shareholder base and Botswana at large as we seek to rewrite another chapter for the bank. Ra leboga. Thank you.
Thank you, Re Banalotle, for those wonderful remarks. And it's a pleasure to welcome Bancabc to the market. But as is the norm at the BSE, when we welcome a company to the market, we ring the bell. So I'm going to ask Mr. Banalotle, Mr. Motabane, and Mr. Taule, and Mr. Staley to position themselves to ring the bell. What is going to happen is Mr. Banalotle is going to ring one bell, and the other bell will go to Mr. Staley. So I am going to count to 3, and please ring the bell as hard as you can. Our tenants do not mind. I mean landlords, sorry, we are tenants. Okay, I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3, go. Thank you very much. And the next item on the program is equally exciting. So I'm going to ask Mr. Banalotle again, joined by Ratsole, to lead us with a toast. And somebody please to assist them with the champagne. And Bancabc Management Exco, please join us on stage. And Atlas Mara, please come forward. This is your moment.
We're too tall.
There's no glass. Okay, so.
I think they know me well. Double fisting today. Can you see? Too tall for you today. No.
To the next phase of growth. Cheers. Cheers.
I think you need to finish it. We done? Yeah.
Now that we've had a sip of the champagne, we've come to the end of the program. So I'm now going to invite the Bancabc board member, Mr. Jacob Motlhabane, to give the vote of thanks. After the vote of thanks, you may feel free to have refreshments outside and stick around. We love visitors. Please help me welcome Mr. Jacob Motlhabane.
Dumelang. Let me just start by observing the protocol in terms of recognizing our key stakeholders, being our regulator, the central bank governor. I don't think I've seen other representative. Let me thank also the CEO of the BSEL, Ratsaola, NBFIRA. I'm not too sure if the CEO is here, but we would like to recognize the NBFIRA for being a part of this enormous task that we've just undertaken. Also, just to recognize in terms of our pension fund heads, who are the institutional investors who've made this process the success it is today. We also would like to thank our transaction advisors. I see Neil here. He's put us through a couple of hours as the board, reorientating the board in terms of running a listed entity. So in that regard, I would also like to thank my fellow board members and our board chair here for having taken the time to go through that process, learning and understanding what difference it makes to start running a listed entity. We are now accountable not just to a few shareholders, but to the whole country of Botswana. In line with that, also RMB, the key advisors in this transaction, Motswedi Securities, our external auditors, KPMG, Grant Thornton here, DLA Piper, and also let me take time to thank the media. I mean, without having entrusted you with making sure the voice gets there to the public about our listing, we would not have achieved the success we have done today. So I'd like to thank the print media, the radio, television, well, BTV in this instance. Kana, you did SABC? Okay. All right, in this regard, BTV, for having given us the air and the time to reach out to the Botswana. I mean, one of the greatest things about listing is trying to diversify and empower Botswana to be part of a great franchise, which is the Bancabc. And I believe we've achieved that target from what I've been told in terms of reaching out to the public. We do have individual participants who've taken part in this process. But most importantly, really, I would like to thank the management and the MD himself here. I know the time they spent working on this was quite challenging. We've had to go through quite a lot of reading from the management in line with what the advisors were giving them. So I know from experience that they put in quite a lot of work. Now I think that we've achieved the target. I think what is left is now for you to go out there, hit the street running, and make sure that you achieve what you've promised to the public in terms of your pre-listing statement. I would like to see that become a reality in terms of what you said you will achieve. And the MD has already mentioned quite a number of activities, initiatives that they will be undertaking to achieve that. So we look forward to that. I think most importantly here we have also the Group CEO, John. We are part of a London-listed company, and we would like to thank our parent company, both from Atlas Mara and ABCH, for allowing this process to go through. It's always not easy to have one subsidiary out of a group being listed, but we have been given the opportunity to do that. And that's simply because they believe in the Botswana brand, they believe in Botswana management in terms of what you've been able to achieve. They believe you are able to take the brand forward and keep it going as a strong brand. And your initiatives are very much appreciated. And also, I mean, I want to just say this to you in terms of what you have achieved. And I know you and Fortune have spent sleepless nights. We do appreciate and recognize that. And I'm speaking on behalf of the board and the chair lady who's here present. We very much appreciate the hard work you've put through. Not forgetting, it takes a whole team. Teamwork is what is critical when you are doing such. And I want to believe the board has given you the support and the time to achieve what you guys want. And so thank you to the board. With that, I want to say thank you to the members here present. Without your presence, without your attendance, this will be a meaningless exercise. Your participation in the listing of the Bancabc is very much appreciated and recognized. We can only hope we continue to get your support, that we also do not disappoint you in terms of carrying out your mandate. Because going forward, the mandate that we are running is yours to make sure that you are successful investors in this company. So with that, thank you all and enjoy your day. Thank you.
We've come to the end of the program. Thank you so much for coming, and happy holidays to everybody. Thank you.